Hello, and welcome back to Monster Train. It is my favorite day of the cycle. I hype Little Fade up a little too much. She's fun, but she's not my... she's pretty fun. I enjoy the Little Fade runs, although I imagine that when I play enough of them, they will become stale. Think about it for a second, right? You're gonna hear a lot of champion battle cries. Are there any champions that I really dread playing right now? Rector. Yeah. Anyway. I think that most of the champions are in a pretty good spot. I think that if they did something to Rector, I don't know what I would do exactly, but... Well, actually, I do know what I would do. It's what Dusk does in his balance mod, which is Reform Rector reforms at the start of your turn instead of at the end of his turn, which is a really big difference, I gotta say. It's very surprising how good it is. Yeah. Before we get into it, what am I gonna tell you? Don't forget to like, comment on the video, and also subscribe if you so desire. I just realized I read through some comments today and realized that the co-op with Cranberry audio is bad. We didn't do any tests with the audio because why would we? It's been fine for like 15 weeks, and it turns out that he's super quiet with the way that I adjusted my audio, so that'll be fixed next week, and sorry about that, but it'll be fixed for next time, hopefully. And yeah, hopefully some new stuff coming up for the channel here in the next week or so. I got a few stream VODs lined up at the very least, so that's good. Yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So on today's episode of Monster Train featuring ya boy, we are Exile Melting Umbra with Double Barrel Daedalus, Darkness Arcus, and Patient Seraph. Kind of gross. Although, I gotta say, Double Barrel Daedalus has fallen on my boss's tier list. I was talking about this on stream. I've been streaming a little Monster Train again on the old Twitch, and the boss that upsets me the most now is Pushback Talos. I really hate every aspect of that boss. Arcus I don't really care about. Arcus is fine. None of the Arcus patterns feel particularly bad, but sometimes Arcus's raw stats can overwhelm you. But I think that that's fine. I don't think that that is necessarily bad. And then Patient Seraph, you know the deal. Whiplash, Making of a Morsel, and Engulfed in Smoke. Engulfed in Smoke's, depending on which Fade we're playing, is how I will say it. Burnout cards got buffed, so I'm interested in playing Firelight. However, looks like we're playing Little Icarus. That's fine. It makes this card really bad, Engulfed in Smoke, but I'm down. The fun thing is, the fun thing about Little Fade is each of her paths feels very viable. If I wanted to, I could go Eternal Flame. The way you would play Eternal Flame here, and it might even be better, the way you would play this though is you would play Fade on bottom floor, get her killed, play her on middle floor, get her killed, and then on the top floor you have a Gorger farming Gorges, probably Crucible Collector. Although maybe Crucible Warden, considering it's Patient Seraph, which is Damage Shield. And then you just slot Little Fade in there at the end of the round. It's a little messier with Umbra, because typically you want to do elevator strats, I feel like, with Little Fade, where you put an endless unit in front of her on each floor. But you really can't with Umbra because of the nature of Gorge. One other thing I want to point out, because it just happened, and I've been noticing this a lot lately. Have you seen the facial animation on this lady if you sit on this screen for too long? I want to... Look at that weird smile she does when she talks. I don't like that. Please don't make that face towards me again. Thank you. I'm actually kind of interested in Drop Cage here. I think Drop Cage is the one. Yeah. Drop Cage is a perspective pick, but now Like, Morsel gaining damage shield isn't great because Fade doesn't really care about that. And this is an unfortunate start overall, but that's okay. I'm gonna play it cool. Drop Cage is good though, because if we see Drip Fall, then we have a Seraph plan. And I'm down to give that Seraph plan a shot. How does Fade ever get a kill? She gets it by just kind of going in. And I'll set up a Train Steward wall up here with some Shade Splitters. Okay. I don't think we're in a bad spot for this combat, but we're not going to get much out of Little Fade here, which isn't good. So she gets one kill right here on this Foot Soldier, which is a step in the right direction. You plan to take a bit of damage here. It's not much damage because of these enemies being 2 attack, but it is a bit. Some damage goes through here. As well player here, although if I play her in Wicklasher, she will burn out. Or no, she won't burn out, rather, is the problem. Do it like this then. I don't think she has a chance of getting much out of this. We're gonna take 4 here. If I set up like this, sometimes I kill the boss before this 4 damage goes through. And that time is right there. So yeah, perfect. Great work, me. Pat myself on the back a little bit for that one. Very nice. Good. So, not perfect. That's probably one of the worst combats you can get for Spike's Fade to start with, because there's very little in the terms of backline that she can kill with spikes. But that's okay. There's our Drip Fall. So there's our Seraph plan sorted. I will take nothing. Yeah, I will take nothing here. I don't feel like I need Pack Morsels or Mind Collapse. Mind Collapse is actually going to be kind of bad overall. Okay. Trying to think of what I'll take from the Remnant banner here. Quick Burnout 1 and +10. Tycoon is fine. Yeah, Tycoon is a really good unit to have. It's weird on Little Fade runs, and I can definitely die for doing this, but by playing with Tycoon, what we can end up doing is he just farms, basically, from Little Fade dying over and over again. He just sits on her floor and he farms. It requires a little extra thinking, but it's worth a lot of money. And sometimes he can sneak, like if I give him a bit of raw stats here, if I just give him a +10, sometimes he gets to like sneak out something. I don't think it's that worth it though. Ideally we are playing middle floor. He and Fade chill middle floor. This is a good combat. I should not take this trial though. Not on this combat. Because of the wave 2 that is effectively it's double heavies on this combat. Alright, so Fade dies down here. Tycoon chills up here. You look for a 4 attack morsel here. Too bad. I guess I could play the morsels on Fade and then it's only better, or it's only worse for me to play like this if I don't hit Primitive Mold next turn. If I miss on the Reform card on this turn, which is possible, all things considered, I didn't, thankfully. But had I missed on that Reform, it would have been a tough one. Should give Fade the extra stats, I think, here. Here's where the +10 would have come into play, by the way. We would kill this Forged Disciple. You know, it's a tough one to get going here, but if we can get rolling with Little Fade, we're looking pretty good. Yeah, we knew this would happen sooner or later. Take 2 from this. I think I want to move this Reconciler away. We want to lessen the number of Sinner's burdens we have to deal with, is my belief here. So this should give us, you know, it's 1 more card drawn, which means 1 more chance of pulling a Little Fade Reform here, which would be ideal. And there it is. Now where do I play her? She does do really well into this boss, to be fair. Like, she does really well into this guy. I missed this kill, but then if I play this steward, she'll get it. So it's... She takes 8 from hitting him. It's 4... It's essentially 6 per round, so it's 6, 7, 8. If I play this train steward, he'll take... He effectively adds 1 round. Because he kills himself on the spikes. I think it's fine. Yeah, I did 30 damage, which is weird. It's a strain. I guess it's 5. I don't know. I don't know how that one works out exactly, but sure. So we're looking not ideal on Little Fade's Spike's slay numbers. That combat, I may have said it was really good, that combat was okay. The cards we're getting are really good. Molded Dripfall are the 2 perfect picks. That's exactly what I would ask for. Space Prism is not useful on this run. We're not in a place where we need space. I don't think I need Perils either. It's a question of, do I want Umbra Assault? I think the answer is yes. Pinging backline isn't good. Pinging Fade is good. And I might need a Gorge plan to get through Daedalus. I'm going to go left and potentially set one up. Shadow Box, that never makes any difference. I'll take Improved Firebox. Sometimes it does something cool, I imagine. Now, is Alloyed Construct good enough? That's gonna be your question of the day. Probably. It's fine. Like, it's basically just insurance, where if Fade falls short and we miss killing Daedalus by a lot, then we can play, or we have Alloyed Construct to fall back on. I can take Petrified Heart here. It is pretty good to give Fade an extra 10 health. So the downside is, of course, losing lifesteal for Construct, but the odds of getting lifesteal are pretty low, and he shouldn't be, especially if I take this, he should not be our main plan. He's just kind of here. This is a pick that probably gets removed, but he's here to make sure we don't die to Daedalus, and he's going to do a good job of it. Other thing to consider though, this is 10 Pyre health. I'll be dropping to 18. I've been playing pretty loose with my Pyre health. I could take Blood for Blood. I have illustrated this before a lot. With Blood for Blood, you can heal a ton against Double Barrel Daedalus. If you play middle 4, you just heal like, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's because you get 16 and then you get 10, but you heal about 20 health for taking this if you set up properly against Double Barrel Daedalus. So you net positive 14 if nothing else goes by. But I really feel like this is really good. I think the plus 10, because we're behind in terms of spikes on Little Fade, so giving her this little extra boost to get us off the ground is hopefully going to make a big difference. She gets to wipe the bottom 4, or most of it. I think it's 3 clergy actually on the first round, but it might be 4. Oh, it is 4. Interesting. Either way, she gets to more or less clear this 4 on her own, and we can give her a free plus 10. We can get rid of it. No, I don't want to get rid of that train steward. Don't do that. That's right. Remember how to play a Little Fade. But that's good. That does make a difference. Bomb's gonna be pretty clutch. Helps to kill Little Fade. I guess she was gonna burn out anyway. They do this, yeah. It's always weird to see morsels when you have Heartless and you just play a morsel with 15 health. Morsel has more health than, like, Little Fade does right now, for example. Morsel has a lot of health. There's a little fade, and now she wipes, like, she gets to start to snowball off of this. She wipes this entire floor, she'll wipe most of this floor up. It becomes pretty good pretty quickly here. A shame that that guy just took 20. I could have mitigated it with that morsel, but I can't risk little fade. She's gotta be getting these kills. Interesting. The two primitive molds here are pretty unfortunate. How do you feel about drip falling little fade here? I have 2 more primitive molds coming up, so it's fine on the reform front. She'll just knock out 2 of these and die. It's not that good. It's not that bad. It just kind of is. She gets an extra slay, but then I have... what, I'll be taking... There's no way I kill her next turn. No way. Not possible. So... it's a tough one. Another situation right here, by the way, where another +10 on this Tycoon saves me quite a bit. Saves me 2 damage, but, you know, still interesting to point out that throwing that +10 so far would have been purely positive. And I think that in the future we can learn from this. I'm running it through the brain, right? So here's what I'm thinking. If I do drop Little Fade, she kills these 2, and then she'll be at spikes 20. She'll be at spikes 31. When I replay her, she'll kill these 2 and chunk these 2. I think it's not worth. I'll get. It's close. I get 4 extra kills, or I get 3 extra kills for playing it with the drip fall onto Little Fade here. However, the question is, do I die to Daedalus for that? What is she at? So she's at 21, which means she's been reformed twice. So if I reform her again, she's going to come back at 3 burnout and 26 health. And there's 2. She'll take 4. And 4, she'll take 8. So she'll be at... she'll burn out in 3 rounds. So it'll tick down 1 here. 1 when this wave... yeah, 1 here and this wave spawns. 1 and then Daedalus enters 1. So she'll burn out on this turn right here, when Daedalus is mid-floor. When he moves to the mid-floor, she burns out. Okay, I'm gonna play it safe. Time to make a choice. I think that this is the safer play. I'm sacrificing some kills on Fade and some Pyre health, and I'm gaining a little more security against Daedalus. Good that we only drew 1 primitive mold here. 2 and 9 and 1. It's exactly 12. Too bad. That's fine. I probably didn't... no, I did need to play it safe because this guy has a fuel problem. The fuel problem being he's going to run out of fuel. Fade dying there doesn't bother me, by the way. I'm sure you're aware. 29. So I just play her on each floor, basically. Yeah, it's fine. I think it is good this way. I can play Engulfed in Smoke. And then she gets to do... what does she do if I play Engulfed in Smoke? She does 120, she does 136 and 29. She does like 5 more damage if I play Engulfed in Smoke. Is that right? I think it is. Yeah, she does a very slightly more amount of damage if I play Engulfed in Smoke there. Because she loses the spikes damage, I'm sure you're aware. Alright. Let me just bring her back, we play her behind, and there we go. I played it safe on this combat, and I think I would play it safe again. I played it very safe, I was not super greedy. Health is looking a little low and a little scary. Remnant Pact is interesting with this 11 health version of Fade. What number would I endless her at? I guess I'd have to do it with her on low health, because if I don't, then she's going to be endless with burnout, but I can extend the burnout. It's tough. Every choice they've shown me here has been tough in the last few minutes. Holy moly, it's 20 minutes and I'm still on Daedalus. What the hell? This one's tough though. This one is like, Little Fade is a run type where you have to really make sure you min-max. I think Remnant Pact is bad here. I'm going to skip it. I'm gonna skip this, and I will take draw. Okay. We're gonna remove the Train Stewards. Probably not gonna remove Allied Construct yet. He's nice to have as a little fallback. Plus it feels good to not waste morsel turns for now. Go right, because removals are important with Fade. Once you get past Daedalus, it gets a little easier because you get to start paying money to remove bad cards from your deck. And you get to start to get a better density of cards you actually want to play in there. Holdover is interesting, right? Because Holdover Dripfall wins us Seraph, but Holdover Molded is... By the time we get to Seraph, this deck should not have enough cards for me to need that Holdover, is the idea here. We have a -1 onto Dripfall. I'll take 1 removal onto a Steward, and I'm gonna go ahead and +20 and consume Umbra Assault. The morsel generation as a whole is just kind of going to be used as a single burst sort of thing. We burst a few morsels into your Allied Construct to get us through these early combats, and then later on we should be cruising. We are weak right now. We're 1 invasion trial, I think, away from spiking in power quite a bit. Spiking. Spikes. Ha. Anyway. We're close, but it is not there yet. I need just a little more... Like, you can see it. You can see what I need. A little more power. Tim Allen... grunt, more power style. You guys like Home Improvement? I actually liked Home Improvement quite a bit. It's not everyone's favorite show, of course. I wouldn't say it was my favorite show, but it was okay. On my sitcom tier list, it exists. And that's more than I can say for some other shows. Holdover Molded is really nice here, so now we have the consistency to play Fade every turn. Ooh, and we get a kill here. 39 and 58 means how much? 80, so it's Tycoon taking the kill, which is fine. We got the cleanup crew up here to handle the heavies who are sneaking by. We're making a good amount of money off of Tycoon now as well, and now Fade starts to kill on her own. Like she gets this entire floor, and that's what you want to see. You want to see Little Fade clearing entire floors. When you start to see that, you start to feel a little more confident. I do anyway. Feel a little more confident. And if I drip all that guy, I get money. Okay. We're making very good progress. Very reasonable progress on the Little Fade train. And I am excited to report that. It's always shaky, I think. It is always shaky with Little Fade, but we are making a better go of it than it looked like we were going to. Oh well, I was trying to get the money. I can still maybe get the money. I didn't draw it. I can like super greed here. We have a primitive mold next turn. 57. There's no reason not to. I'm trying to think of a reason not to. There is not one. Just play Little Fade there, and then we reform Tycoon on this turn. And he farms an extra 5 gold. There's no reason for me to not do that, right? It's just 5 extra free gold, and it's minor, but it's worth doing. It's worth making sure that I'm maximizing value. Engine upgrade's pretty good here. We have a lot of space to spare, and I don't mind giving up that 1 card draw for it. I'm very stingy with my card draws now. Very much skipping cards like engine upgrade just because I want to not have to have a turn where I play it. Drawing it sometimes can feel pretty bad if it's like a really crucial turn that you draw it on. I want to just keep going removals. Is there a spell upgrade that I'm looking for? Not really. I think it is fine to go right here. Just take out Train Steward. I'm actually going to start removing... I'm going to remove 1 primitive mold. I'm going to remove the rest of the Shade Splitters next, but 1 primitive mold here. It's, we have to have 47 deaths and then Memorial Fund becomes profitable? That is tough. That is a tough sell. I'm gonna tell you. Trap Shoot's nice here. It's 4 Dazed for Seraph. Pulley Claw's the same, but you can't play Pulley Claw at the start of Relentless. I mean, you can kill yourself if you want to on a run. I prefer to avoid it as best as I can. Armor 15. You know what I'm gonna say. I respect this man a lot. I am going to not take this trial. The first wave of this combat is one that I respect very highly. I am afraid of Overcharged Tank number 1. It's 2 and then 4, it's 6 and then 10, which is 16. If I play Fade here, I'm okay with losing the Tycoon money. I'm gonna do it like this, basically. Now, as long as I draw a Reform on this turn, which, I remove the primitive mold, so the odds are slightly lower. If I miss one, you can go, haha, you fool. And I did not. You cannot go, haha, you fool. You can still type in the comment section, haha, you fool, if you desire. However, I will go, aw, when I read that comment. I won't be, like, overly hurt, but I will think about it for at least a moment. Anyway. Looking good. Like, Fade is scaling well. Coming up on the number you want to be hitting by the time you're reaching Arcus, which is around, in terms of spikes, you want to be somewhere around the 100 mark at this point in the game. And we are approaching that number, which is a good sign. I feel... What is in this? Oh, that's right, I killed you. Welcome back. Wicklash here effectively does nothing. Too bad you can't Wicklash an enemy unit. I'm going to Daze. No, I'm not going to Daze. Yeah, I'm just gonna end my turn. No, I should have played Wicklash. That was silly. I should play Wicklash because it's just 10 extra damage on Fade. That's a silly thing to do. You are correct. I drop... I drop you. Although you get Daze 3 on you, which is a little bad. Interesting that dazing is bad here. It's not that bad, it's just kind of weird. Okay. If I can potentially... but dropping the enemy with Dripfall doesn't add anything because they don't actually... they're dazed, they don't get to swing. I can drop here, or I can drop you and get an extra kill. I need to make sure that Fade dies next turn. Because it is Stealth Boss, who I do need to give respect to. Okay. We gotta make sure that I don't mess this one up. I shouldn't... Although it's not bad to greed for an extra 6 pyre health here. There's no way that I can kill Little Fade. But there's nothing I can really do to kill Little Fade. I can't kill her, right? Right. So I just do that. And... Huh, interesting. Okay. I could stealth her, but I think I just take the spikes gains here. It's possible that I die on this combat. I would be surprised, but it is not out of the question. Okay, we pulled trap shoot. In case you didn't know, you can trap shoot your own units. You may be thinking, when would you ever do that? And welcome to the circumstance. I think this is the first time I've done it. Not ever, but at least in a very long time. It's the first time I've trap shooted my own unit. We take 4 there. Or no, we took 2 because of the dazed, which is fine as well. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then fade burns out. So instead you do, or no, we can do 1, 2, 3 with whiplash. You'll have burnout 6, so it'll be 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Either way, though, right? Like either way, it's the same amount. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She doesn't get a hidden, so we just do it like this then. Okay. I want to be could use one of these to jump around, but it doesn't really matter. We have it. I'm pretty confident. He should kill her, right? Oh, pretty close. So now the hard task of figuring out where I place Little Fade to get the kill. I put her in front, she takes 13, the stealth round goes, she takes 13, she'll do 87 times 2, which is a little above 160, and the allied construct takes the kill. If I play her behind, construct takes a hit, construct takes a hit and does 114, Fade does 136, 114 and 136 is 250, I believe. I play her here. And she gets the kill. Perfect. Just barely, but alright. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. We're getting there. Because now we get to ideally snowball very much out of control on Arcus by having Fade gain a lot of kills in a short amount of time. And then from there we just catch up on this one and then go into Seraph with a good amount of confidence. Although not a ton of confidence. It's kind of awkward. Seraph's weird. After this next combat is when I remove Alloyed Construct. After this one is when he's done. He doesn't need to be here anymore. Duplicate Dripfall. Alright, let's do it. This is Spell Shield Arcus, which is good too because this is a combat that has a lot of easy kills built into it. Lots of sycophants to sweep up and take away with Little Fade. Dazed down here. 2 and 4 and 6 is 12. I mean, we'll just play bottom floor. Play Fade first. And that's fine. And we can set up for Construct. He is really doing a lot, I gotta say. Unupgraded Allied Construct in this deck is doing a great job. I'm very happy with what he's done for us today. He's doing a great bit of work for us. Fade wipes this floor, and then burns out. On every combat other than Seraph, slapping Endless on Little Fade right here is good. And even on Seraph it might be okay. The problem is just if she dies, it's very bad. I'm gonna Umbra here. I don't want to Umbra either of those, but I want it out of the deck. 105 spikes. Holdover Molded is the all-star of this run. I'm sure you're well aware. Also, that's not supposed to happen. That is not supposed to pop up there. I wonder why that happened. 105, I can play this here. That is interesting. I wonder if it's because there's morsels in the eaten pile it shows up like that? Hard to say. Make sure I play these cards all out. Making of a morsel should be removed as well. There's like, I can remove the morsel package at this point, I'm pretty sure. Fade's coming up on the, because the next interval is it's not one, it's 150, yeah. It probably is because morsels are in the pile, if I were to take a guess. But yeah, the next interval is like 150-ish for harvests and sweeps, and then it's 190 for the heavies. And we're approaching that very quickly. Put the Wicklash down. I am going to increase the cost here. The Dazed plan is working out pretty well as well. He's up to 6-7 days. It's a good thing to be doing. We're adding draw. I'm feeling good. I feel like this is a winning run. I would be surprised to see this one go awry from this position. We survived the shaky parts, and I did, like, this is going to be a little longer of an episode than some of the easier runs, but you gotta sometimes, in these runs, sit down and give the video game a good old-fashioned thinking. Which is what we did today. It's one more round if I do that, which is quite a bit. Specifically, Little Fade runs, and a lot of runs, are survived or lost at Daedalus, right? A lot of runs become winners once you just get to pull out the cards that are slowing you down quite a bit, which we have done now. We have removed the cards slowing us down, and we have added the good upgrades that we couldn't get in the early game, right? And now with that, we're starting to snowball out of control. Little Fade's becoming very big. I'm going to skip that. And I'm going to take draw, because our deck is basically free. Gonna go to whichever path has removals. Yeah, because our spell upgrades are good. I can add some -1s to cards, but I don't need to. I basically just need holdover molded. The other thing that really accelerated us is the Petrified Heart. Thank you, Allied Construct, you did great. And we can start getting rid of Making of a Morsel. That card is clunky. Tycoon has earned us a lot of money, which we haven't spent lately. I will roll, although, do I need to? Nah, he's just kind of sitting there and generating revenue right now. And this is a run that would lose if I didn't take... With this setup, I would probably not win, because Little Fade with this number of spikes would not kill Patient Seraph, but we're going to have the Dazed, and Little Fade's just going to smash him into the ground, is the plan. And that's why we're going to remove a lot of cards. Since the plan is just to Daze Seraph, we want to remove cards that do not apply Dazed. I will stop here for now. I will look for something. Sure, you know what, Tycoon? You've generated me enough money to earn on multi-strike. No, psych. I have tricked you again. I don't want to spend money on him. I really don't. I don't think it's worth it. The Wilt Wings combat is really good here. Yeah, this is a really good combat. It's a little tough because Fade's gonna die a lot, but that's okay. And 140 is the Dark Wings interval. Okay. I am going to not take this trial. We're gonna err on the side of caution. They do more damage when I'm wrong. And Fade gets 2 kills in here. Nice, that's actually really good. If I put +10 and burnout on him, he just catches. We have a higher chance of getting the collector here. Ah, too bad. Okay, once we get a little more health on Fade, it stops being a problem, right? And I can maybe just dripfall this guy and do something about him. I don't know what I'm gonna do about him, but maybe if I dripfall him, I'll find an answer. Like maybe if I just leave him down. Oh yeah, I meant Umbra Assault. There you go. I did have an answer. All a part of my plan. 11, 10. She dies after the first hit here, so... Yeah, Tycoon doesn't. Or Tycoon gets this one though. So Take the collector. Then set these morsels up here. Lower the engine. We have a lot of Dazed in this deck. That's good. Making bosses not attack is a good way for Little Fade to get the win. Just take that 10. I haven't been pathing in too much healing on this run, and by not pathing in too much, I mean I have not pathed into basically any healing. It's a little scary. I have 10, 15. Interesting. I can... The morsels have too much health. I need them to just like... I need this guy to just take this round. I need him to die after this Wilt Wings hits him, but he lives through all three of them. And the Gilded Wing. Which is just kind of crazy. So he can go there. I am going to need to do something about this enemy, but I'm probably just going to be drip falling it a lot. And that's the something. That's an okay something. Go wipe this floor for us. Like, it's not that big of a deal if I just send that guy down there with 6 Dazed. It's kind of fine. Not great, obviously, but it's okay. Fade. Excuse me. Fade's at 180. And we're going to get quite a bit here as well. Could trap shoot this guy away. I'm gonna do it to this Gilded Wings. I'm worried about letting that guy run free. And I believe this is trample, right? Yeah, it is trample. I think I just put Little Fade on this floor and daze the boss. She has 270 attack. If I do that, the boss takes 3 Dazed. These 2 hit, she takes 20 damage, and then she gets 3 rounds in, so she won't kill him. Okay, given that, what I should do is this then. Should just play a morsel here. I don't want to put Little Fade on the top floor. I want to put her on this floor so she kills this Gilded Wing, and then I apply the Dazed. Okay. Look at that, that 4 damage morsel up there really did get his time in the sun. I think this just kills him, right? Yeah, okay. I'll take the money as well while we're here. Cool. Good combat. That was the amount of scaling you want to see. I feel very good about this run. I've been saying it for a little while now, saying the same stuff, right? But at this point, there's not much more to say. I just play Little Fade and make sure that she dies when she's supposed to, which becomes a lot easier against Patient Seraph, although maybe her deaths become too easy and we get overwhelmed. I'm not sure. I'm going to take the Pyre health and I'm going to take the removals here. And remove that last Shade Splitter, and with that, almost every vestige of Umbra has been taken out of this run. Don't want any of these. Go ahead and roll. Present block is... it's not that good. It's not very good here. I think it's worth less than a removal to me. It's worth about 60 damage on Little Fade, but she should win by such a landslide that it doesn't matter if I have that damage or not. I'm going to remove 2 primitive molds. And we're going to take this deck down to 14 cards. Give you a plus 25, you've earned it. Alright, let's do it. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Feeling pretty good about this. Cycling in the entire deck in 2 turns is, of course, I don't need to tell you this, it's nuts. It's very, very good. Seraph's numbers do not matter to me on this run. I do not care what Seraph is at. in any way. Yeah, because I'm just going to Daze Seraph down to infinity. The only thing that I could have found on this run that I could have looked around for is I could have looked for the remove consume onto that trap shoot. That was it. That was the only other thing I can think of that could have been good here that I did not look for. Otherwise, I think this run is more or less set. 1 and 1 is 2. Just making sure that this is indeed something I'm allowed to do here. I am. Doesn't change much. I'm just making sure that I was able to do that. It changes. She gets an extra 5 health, which can mean a lot, especially in the face of heavies first now. Remember what I said at the start of the run as well about reaching a point where the holdover on drip fall doesn't matter. It's an important thing to be able to recognize. You want to recognize what your long-term plan is, and my long-term plan with this run, as is the long-term plan of most Little Fade runs, is to remove a lot of cards. And also, I knew in the back of my mind I was probably going to duplicate that drip fall at some point, because I was going to be pathing into so many removals. And it seems like there's always one path where there's a it's a removal, a duplicate, and then one other thing. And I think that one other thing is usually Pyro, but it might be money. I had a feeling that we would hit a duplicate along the path that I wanted to go to, basically. And when we got there, the zero cost drip fall was a great duplicate target. Now Fade didn't die, which is concerning. It's not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, this is the end of the run. Never mind. Seraph has quite a bit of dazed on him here. If you are to look closely, you'll notice that Seraph is a little dazed. 25. Thanks, Iron Drop Cage. This is really a run where everything that I hypothesized from the start came together. And it's nice. Like, it's really, really nice that from the start I went, okay, so if I take Drop Cage and see Drip Fall, it's just gonna win the game, right? 27 dazed. Cool. Oh, I missed 10 gold there. Whoops. And I probably would have picked differently if I did not, or if I had gone to Fade first, right? Probably would have taken the Morsel Shield, or if I had not gone to Fade first. Because the Drop Cage plan with Spike's Fade would not have made sense to me. I'm always surprised at how well Little Fade scales once you get to Arcus or Fel, right? Because we left the second floor with like 13 spikes. I think maybe she killed 6 enemies total. That was a new record for the smallest deck size on Victory. I'm pretty sure I had smaller. Oh, that was on the beta branch though. I think I had like a 9 card deck on the beta branch with Fade and Welder Helpers. Yeah. Anyway, that was a cool run. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, do not forget to leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to see some more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.